So this is Kirk with Huck Outdoors. I'm gonna try to do some fishing today on the Tennessee River, in particular Wheeler Lake Reservoir here in Alabama. Try to do some crappie fishing. We'll see what I can do with them. Maybe may or may not be able to find any. Had about between 1.5 inches and 2 inches of rain the last 24 hours, so it really dirtied up the water, and there's quite a bit more current in the river than there was last time I fished in this particular area. We'll see what goes. Might end up catching bass, may end up not catching anything at all, I'm not sure. Give it a go. I'll get my rig set up and show you what my approach is going to be, and show you how I'm going to see if we can catch anything. So hang tight with me. So what I'm going to be fishing on the first try, since the water's a little dingy, is blackened chartreuse with Bobby Garland. It's called Baby Shad Lights Out. See that? And I'm fishing a double rig, so I'll be able to put two jigs on each setup I got. And the other jig I'm gonna try is this Venom Predator Shad, and the color kind of blurred out. It's called Shimmer Shad. Looks like a chartreuse pepper a little bit to me. So they get set up, and we'll see what we can catch. The rod I'll be using, Walmart Hank Parker speed stick, and then I've got this little Jupiter X reel. Don't even know who makes them, but Walmart rod. The reel came from like a flea market or something like that. Pound test for crappie. Top jig, 1/64 of an ounce. Bottom jig, 1/32 of an ounce. Just regular lead heads. I don't have any painted yet, any painted colored jig heads or anything. So we'll see what that goes. So stand by. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to pitch between this retaining wall and this barge that's tied off. Seems like sometimes crappie will suspend, sometimes near the bottom, sometimes halfway. I'm in about 12-13 foot of water. Got a little current going, so I may not be able to fish just like I want in this direction, because I don't want to go too heavy, and I'm going against the current because of the way the barges are tied off. So may or may not be able to fish effectively this way. So I'll give it a try here. If this don't work, I got another option that I'll try in this area. I haven't got any bumps yet. Okay, so I'm fixing to change it up to a jig pole and try to get in these little slack water areas. It's a little too much current for what I want to do. So sit tight and let me get changed over to my jig pole. Alright, so what I think I've figured out is I went to my jig pole, set it up on a double rig. That Venom chartreuse on the top, and the Bobby Garland black and chartreuse on the bottom. And since this water has come up, and it's so dirty. Fish are probably gonna be kind of shallow. Would be my guess. So all I'm doing is pitching up where it's shallow and it just kind of drops off. Just kind of slowly pulling it back. And there's a crappie. They're small, but it's a crappie and that's what we're after, so that's all about it. See, I don't know if you can tell, but the current that's coming by is just on the outside edge of this. Current's coming in this little hole just so slightly. Probably a brim that was hitting it. And I guess it's maybe blowing in bait fish or something. Maybe the bait fish come in here to get out of the current. And the crappie are in here. Keep getting little bitty nibbles, which I presume is small crappie or brim. Ended up putting this little split shot weight, since there was so much current. Put the little split shot above the bottom to kind of keep it down out of the current. I may end up taking it back off since I'm not really in the current. I'll have a slower fall if I do that. Here, let me take it back off. Okay, so what I've done is I switched over to my jig pole and got in here real close to where the current breaks, and I'm down about, I think it's 9 foot of water. I think I'm fishing about 7 or 8 foot deep, and I'm just slowly jigging that double rig right there below that barge against the mooring sail, and got one. If I can stay off my fishing spot without using the trolling motor. There's one. Alright. He hit the bottom jig, which is the Bobby Garland Black and Chartreuse. I think it's called something else, but what I usually try to do is keep the ones that are keeper size when I'm fishing out here, and I'll try to find somebody to give them away to before I go home. And if I don't find anybody to give them to, I'll just throw them back in the lake. Just that one got me all kind of crossed up though. Okay, so I've caught a couple of crappie in this one little area right here where it's swirling, the current going by and getting behind that mooring sail. So, keep it crappie. So I'm gonna see if I can repeat the process and catch another one. It's just tricky, tight spot in here, and where where they're hitting it, I can barely reach with my jig pole. I can't. I missed it. And I can't get there otherwise. And there was another one that just bumped it right in. Finally found a decent crappie, so I'm going to try to see if I can repeat that rhythm and see if there's another one down there. That one was very deep. Fishing on a jig pole, probably 11, 12 foot now. 18 foot of water. Not much current stirring behind this mooring sail right here, which is good. There's a double right there. They're small, but it's a double. You see that? Hit the venom on the top, and that one hit the black and chartreuse on the bottom. Just got it, like I said, just got this jig pole and found some calmer water. And it's not causing any reverse current or whirlpools or anything behind it, so that's good. You see, I'm just kind of letting the jig fall in segments. Tell me he was on there until the line went slack. Little bass. Little bass. Let him go. By the way, this is my favorite way of fishing for targeting crappie. It's just a jig pole and a jig. I like to catch them on that bump. That one bumped it, but it was light. It might have been a little one, or it could have been a brim. Almost like that one hit it when I was swimming just swimming the jig across instead of sitting there jigging it up and down in one spot. You can see the current moving the same direction I'm jigging. There's better fish. Well, I said it was. It's tap tap tap. Goggle eye. They're all this color. They got this very washed out look because of the dirty water. Sunlight can't get down into the water, and they're all kind of pale looking. I caught bass today that looks like that as well. Water just so dirty from what it was just 24 hours ago. It's changed a lot the last time I was here. Another one. Fish is in the area, I guess. That one ain't gonna keep, but another crappie. They're in there. I only got one to hit the chartreuse. Jig pole, just straight down vertical jigging is my best option. Here's that one. How he got on. And so far, the pattern I've caught the most fish on is a jig pole and a double rig today. Now the other day I was catching them pretty consistently, just casting and reeling back half the depth that the water was, and they were either hitting it as it fell to the halfway mark, or they would hit it on the slow retrieve in. As you can see, they're not even size to these fish, but they're still fun to catch. And that's what it's all about, getting out here and having a little fun, relaxing. Usually when I'm in these particular areas on Wheeler Lake, the plants and things are up and running, and it's loud. I guess they got a vacation day or two because they're not running loud like they normally are, which is nice. You'll be able to hear what's going on. Somewhat, anyway. But what I'm fishing with is one of my favorite jig poles. It's a B&M Ultralight. It's got the rear seated. It's got just a little Buck's reel, but it's a really light rod. Broke the tip off of it, of course, to replace it. So probably just actually a little bit shorter than 10 foot, but you can feel the fish real good when you're fishing light tackle, like 4-pound test like I am, with a couple of 32nd ounce jig heads. Fish, that's what's doing all the tap tap tap. See how small that fish is? That's the one that keeps tapping it and not taking it. I mean, it's a crappie. That's what's keep doing all those little taps. Guess you got to get in on the action too. May as well. I don't mind catching a little one. And what I've discovered about these fishing around these barges and mooring sails, I mean, it really makes it, if you're crappie fishing, it really makes a difference what TVA is doing with the current and how much rain you've had recently. Like I mentioned earlier, we had it was over 1.5 inches of rain in the last 24 hours. And the time before this, water was clear. Now it's dirty. Stained, I think is what you call it. And I usually try to fish something bright or dark when the water is dingy like this. Give something to fish to see. And the sun hadn't been out all day, but it's out right now, and I don't know if that's got something to do with it or not, but up to this point hadn't really found a pattern. Now, I wouldn't really call this a pattern either, but this one particular spot has probably caught, I don't know, 15 crappie, I guess. You see them, most of them small. Probably about time I put another jig on here. What do you think? I'm about at it. Put another one on. Turn my 13 feet back here. 5 foot change. Which may not seem like much. But crappie want to be in 18 foot of water. That's where they're all going to be. Well, I shouldn't say all. That's where these are going to be anyway. But we'll try and see if there's another one between here and there. You probably saw that one. It's another little one. I just barely pulled that one up. Otherwise, if I jerk it, it'll pull it out of his mouth. He's so small. There's another little one. places here. We'll come to another mooring cell. Same setup, about 18 feet of water, fishing down about 11 or 12 foot deep. And probably already caught, I think 4 or 5 maybe. Only one of those with keeper though. Same pattern seems to be working. Another small one. And they've been going between hitting the blackened chartreuse Bobby Garland on top and the venom chartreuse on the bottom. They've hasn't been really one particular jig over the other in terms of where I'm getting the most bites on. This one. So, and I like to do that when I'm fishing double rigs, which I typically when I'm casting open water, I typically always put on a double rig, or I like to, I should say. And when I do that, I always try to go with different colors, of course, see what they prefer. See, that one hit the venom on top. And see if I can figure out if something is working better than the other color or not. And usually in dirty water, I like to try to put on a pink head, pink jig head, or a chartreuse jig head. It seems to work pretty good for me. I'm fishing dirty water too, but today I hadn't put anything on but a straight lead color head. And seems like they like the black and chartreuse and chartreuse. Something they could see. I mentioned that earlier. I mean, the water's stained and dingy. Something dark or bright. Dark would be your dark blues, dark brown, black of course. Something bright would be like an orange or a pink. Chartreuse. And I even caught a good one earlier on the single white marabou. Didn't have a pattern with it, but I did catch a pretty good one on a white colored marabou jig earlier. Alright, this is probably the last, I'm assuming it's probably the last apologize about that. Probably the last spot I'm going to fish before I leave for the day. Water depth here looks like it's a little bit shallower, about 16 foot. Same pattern. Last spot I'll fish before I call it a day. Missed that one. At least 2 fish down there. I don't know if that one's keeper or not. Probably not. See, that one just kind of picked it up and went swimming with it. I didn't really feel it until I pulled it back. last fish is, right in the middle of the ring. Maybe. Try it and see. That might be where the last fish of the day is. Also might be where I get hung up. Didn't get him in, but he was down there. That's gonna about wrap it up for me. I had a pretty good day. I wasn't able to fish the pattern that I thought I was going to be able to catch the fish on. Like I said, targeted crappie. I thought after all the rain that we had and the water being so muddy, and the water has risen probably a half a foot to maybe even a foot overnight. I thought the fish would be up shallow. That wasn't the case. The pattern I finally got on toward the latter part of the day was not shallow water at all. I'll be honest, I was riding the struggle bus for quite a while first thing this morning because I kept focusing on shallower water. But ended up finding the fish in deeper water, suspended up off the bottom. So what worked for me was getting behind those barge tiles, I think they're called mooring sails, when the water was about 15 to 18 feet closer to the deep water, maybe even the drop off, and fishing up off the bottom. I think I was fishing about 12 foot deep just with a jig pole. Jig pole was being in that ultralight I mentioned earlier, and I had two 1/32 ounce jig heads on it. And what I call the MVPs of the day, the jigs that worked the best for me, was the Bobby Garland black and chartreuse. You can see that or not. And then the other one was a Venom. The Venom makes the lure. It's called Shimmer Shad, but to me it's chartreuse and pepper looking. And I also caught some on just black and white. I think it's called Tuxedo. So yeah, looking over here at my clicker, it looks like I've caught 53 today, and most of those were crappie. Most of them were small crappie, but decent number, I guess. But they were mainly small. They weren't keeper size, but it was something to catch, I guess, considering the 24-hour weather change from the last time that I was here. Kept a few in the box here. Going to try to find somebody to give them away to at the boat ramp. And if I'm able to, then that's fine. If I'm not, I'll just release them back to the lake and chase after them again next time. So thanks for watching the little clip, and until next time, God bless, and we'll see you on the flip side.